Is it showing me? Can you see the screen now? Okay. Hello, my name is Stephanie Scherer, and I'm going to be talking about what occurred in Salem, Massachusetts during 1692. How would you feel if your family member was executed for their beliefs? The Salem witch trials are a grim part of the United States history, surrounded by collective madness and discrimination. The individuals killed were tortured under law and religion. This event shows the effect of how religion can blindside a community. The Salem witch trials occurred in early 1692 and mid-1693. There were more than 200 people that were accused of witchcraft, and 25 of those people died for just living their life. After thoroughly researching about the Salem witch trials, I want to share what happened to the innocent people who died for no reason. The start of the Salem witch trials. In 1689, a new reverend had been hired at the Salem Village Church. Reverend Samuel Parris had come to Salem with his wife, Mrs. Elizabeth Parris, his 11-year-old niece, Abigail Williams, his 9-year-old daughter, Elizabeth Betty Parris, and a slave couple, John and Tituba Indian. Tituba's job was to watch the children and take care of the house. She would entertain them with stories about folk magic. Folk magic was strictly forbidden because this magic was believed to summon demonic powers. Tituba had afternoon sessions with other young women from the Salem Village parish. The girls went to Tituba to know about their futures. The dreams they had from the magic led them to have fits and nightmares. The group of girls tried to keep their behavior secret. The young women displaying irrational behavior was not easy to keep hidden. The Reverend's niece and daughter started showing behavior of staring blankly into space, falling on the floor, barking like a dog, and making choking sounds. The Reverend noticed this and took them to a local physician, Dr. William Griggs. He said that their behavior was related to magic and they were under the power of witchcraft. Finding this out, Reverend Parris started questioning the group of girls acting strangely. He was questioning them to figure out who was behind the witchcraft. Through the interrogations, Tituba was revealed as being involved, and Abigail Williams, the Reverend's niece, had accused 2 other women, Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne. Accusations and killings. On May 14, 1692, the trials began. The first to be tried was Sarah Good. Throughout her trial, she maintained her innocence. Surprisingly, Sarah Good's husband, Mr. William Good, had testified against her. He stated that she was evil and she might be a witch or in the process of becoming one. Sarah stood up for herself, but the jury was not convinced she was innocent. Even though she was pregnant at the time, she was still sent to prison with a death sentence. Sarah later died in prison. After Sarah Good, Tituba was questioned. Tituba had confessed to practicing black magic and accused others as well. Because she accused others of witchcraft, she was seen as a witness and was not killed. After Tituba, Sarah Osborne was questioned. She said she was a woman of God, but claimed to be tortured by the devil for not fulfilling his demands. Like Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne died in prison. Soon after, the 4-year-old daughter of Sarah Good, Dorcas Good, was questioned. Because she was a child, she was easily manipulated into saying she was a witch. Dorcas was sent to prison and got out when she was 18. Her father claimed that she had been damaged mentally and physically from prison. Her father was awarded 30 pounds sterling as compensation. The next question was Rebecca Nurse. During her trial, the judge asked her a question, but because of her partial deafness, she could not answer. Because of this, she was given the verdict of guilty and was sent to prison to be executed. The first person to be executed was Bridget Bishop. She had been charged with witchcraft years earlier. Her case was fully supported by spectral evidence, which is evidence presented by a witness who claimed to see the spirit of or specter of an accused person committing acts of witchcraft, according to Karen Aker, 2021, page 1. The testament of a couple was important in her trial. They accused her of using black magic on their child because of a disagreement. She was later executed. The first male victim of the witch trials was George Jacob Sr. He was accused of threatening and tempting Tituba's group of girls to sign the Devil's Book. A huge factor in this case is that his granddaughter accused herself, him, and an old minister of becoming witches. Jacobs was asked to recite the Lord's Prayer in his trial because it was believed witches couldn't recite it. He made several errors and was sentenced. The minister accused George Burroughs' trial consisted of him being asked to look at the group of girls. When he did, the children fell. He was sent to prison and was later executed. The next victims were a couple, Giles and Martha Corey. Giles' execution was probably the worst of them all. During the trial, he did not speak. Because of this, the judge ordered for him to be put through an ancient torture of peine forte et dure. This torture method consisted of the body being pressed with heavy weights. Giles died from the pressure of heavy rocks. The last people executed were Mary Esty, Alice Parker, Ann Pudeator, Margaret Scott, Wilmot Red, Samuel Wardwell, and Mary Parker. All those who were executed died because of spectral evidence. Only statements and testimonies were used. There was no investigation taken for these victims. By 1957, a few of the victims' families had been awarded compensation. It took decades for the victims' names to be cleared and for them to be declared innocent. Only 6 from Salem have been declared innocent. The Salem witch trials impacted almost all neighboring communities. This caused more innocent individuals to die. What type of case were these trials? There are many theories on what type of case these trials were. Was it religious or criminal? The idea of witchcraft was influenced by the Hebrews code in the Bible. In Hebrews, Exodus 22:18, it says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." The ideology of witchcraft has developed more and more into the thought of practicing witchcraft as sinful and evil. These cases were of criminal offense but were based on religious beliefs. Because this was a witchcraft case which involved religion, it is considered an offense under the Bible, but the offenses were criminal during trial. Most believe that this case was based on religious disagreements through Salem because those who were convicted were charged for committing sin and were punished according to the Bible. Wherever witchcraft occurred, a huge number of complaints were towards targets. Most of the women accused were of middling or advanced years, widowed or single, and had been involved in disagreements. Many were family and friends of the accused and could be accused as well just for speaking to them. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Salem witch trials reflect on how mass hysteria can lead to traumatic events in history. The bias, power imbalance, and mistreatment of the women suggest that these trials were brought out by discriminatory actions. Even though the families of those who have been falsely accused were compensated for what happened to their family members, reparation is not the answer to fixing what happened. We need to speak up about what happened to all of these innocent people so that this never happens again. Thankfully, present-day laws and regulations have been focused more on the protection of women and those who are different. Thank you.